Question 34 is the beginning of part 3. These are worth 3 points each. They have these 4 numbers, and they want to know, of these 4, which of them satisfy this equation. Now, the long way of doing this question would be to solve this equation and then see which numbers satisfy the simpler inequality. But the easier way to do this question is just to check the 4 answer choices. For instance, to check if 18 works, we'd want to know, does 2/3 times 18 plus 3, is that less than negative 2 times 18 minus 7? And if you simplify both sides, it would be 12 plus 3 minus 36 minus 7. Well, 15 is definitely not less than minus 43, so 18 would not be an answer choice. Turns out that 6 and minus 3 don't work either, but if you were to try negative 12, that would become minus 8 plus 3, which is minus 5. And if you compare that to minus 2 times negative 12 minus 7, which is 24 minus 7, which is 17, this does come out to be true, and that's why the answer is just negative 12. Moving on to question 35. For question number 35, they want you to graph y equals absolute value of x and also y equals absolute value of half x. And they want a little sentence explaining how those graphs are different from each other. Now, you could graph these things on your graphing calculator. You would say y equals, you type math, and then move over to the right, num. The first thing is absolute value of x. And for the second one, it would be math, num, absolute value of half x. And you could graph this. Zoom 6 makes a nice 10 by 10 grid. Well, as you can see, the original one was y equals absolute value of x. It's a V shape. And the absolute value of half x is kind of a less steep V. So you would graph them here. Here's y equals absolute value of x. Here's absolute value of half x. Notice how this slope here is a slope of 1. And this one has a slope of a half. That's over 2 up 1. And then you would say decreasing the coefficient, decreasing coefficient makes the V shape less sort of steep. I think that would get you full credit. The slope of this right-hand branch has gotten smaller. Officially, it's called a vertical compression, but I don't think you need to know that for this. I think if you say this, you'd be just fine. Okay, moving on to question number 36. Here we have some kind of graph. Megan and Bryce opened up a new store called the Donut Pit. Their goal is to reach a profit of $20,000 in their 18th month of business. And here's a graph of what's happened so far. After 1 month, they had $3,000 profits, then they lost some money. As you can see, it's kind of going up, and they're hoping that they get to $20,000 by their 18th month. Let's see what the question's asking. Draw a reasonable line of fit, and then using the line of best fit, predict whether Megan and Bryce will reach their goal in the 18th month of their business. A reasonable line of fit. So for this, they wanted to basically know, what does this mean? What's a line of best fit? How can a line be a better fit than another? To me, here's a reasonable line of best fit. Something like, it has to be a line. Now, you can't hit all the points with a line because these points are not collinear, but there's a reasonable line of best fit, just to get a feel for it. Then they say using the line of best fit, predict whether Megan and Bruce will reach their goal in the 18th month of their business. Now, I don't know here if they mean the actual, there is an official line of best fit, or if they mean this reasonable one that you drew. I'm going to guess that they're talking about the line that you drew. So they want to know if in the 18th month, if this line continues, will they get to, what do they want, $20,000? They wanted to make $20,000, so they're hoping to be 18 up here. And no, it does not look like they're going to reach their goal if this line continues. And I think that's what they're basically asking. You might make an estimate that using your line of fit, it looks like profits will be approximately something like 13,000. So the answer is no. Now, part 4, there are 3 more questions left in this test. Part 4, question number 37, they want you to express this fraction divided by another fraction in simplest form. And I do recommend you pause to try to do this yourself before watching the solution. So here's the way you do a question like this. First of all, you factor everything. This x squared minus 49, that can be factored to x plus 7, x minus 7. That's one of the factoring patterns, because those are both perfect squares. X squared plus 9x minus 14. For that one, we want 2 numbers that multiply to give me negative 14, that add to give us 9. I just realized this is actually supposed to be a plus here in this question. Somehow that line got deleted. So this makes it easier. We need 2 numbers that multiply to give us 14 that add to give us 9, and those 2 numbers are 2 and 7. Now, to divide fractions, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to put this 3x plus 6 on the bottom and factor it to 3 times x plus 2. And this x squared plus x minus 56, for that, I'm going to look for 2 numbers that multiply to give me negative 56 and add to give me 1. And that's going to be here. That's because this is plus 1x. Now we get to do a lot of canceling. The plus 2's cancel, the plus 7's cancel, the minus x minus 7's cancel, and all that's left is x plus 8 over 3. Question 38. Here we have a cumulative frequency histogram of students' test scores. So what this means is that 2 students got between 41 and 50, and this next bar, notice how it's 41 again? So this is everyone who got 41 to 60, and so these bars each include the bars from before. So the total number of students in the class is going to be 30 students, because the last bar tells you that. How many students scored higher than 70? Well, notice from 41 to 70 was just 10 people, but there's 30 people all together, so that means that there's 20 left to score greater than 70. Which 10-point interval contains the median? Well, if there's 30 people, the median score is the 15th score, which would be over here, and that's why it's between 70 to 80. And finally, state which 2 10-point intervals contain the same frequency. And that one's going to be 80 to 90 and 90 to 100, because as you can see, each of those bars increased from the one before by 6.